Barsha, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. So yeah, Barsha, tell me, what has it been like being a student during the pandemic? Has there been any massive challenges or any kind of positives that have come out of it?
Yeah, so I think just the main challenge with being a student during this pandemic was the whole work from home situation, especially with practical courses such as mine. A lot of fashion courses, and I do tailoring. You won't have all of the equipment at home, so it's just sort of adjusting to that. And of course, I think it was during around December, January time, it was complete lockdown for a while. So
Yeah.
just blended learning, because towards the end of the year, it was you could go in 1 day a week for face-to-face actual study, and then you can book in the studios, but prior to that you couldn't book the studios at all. So adjusting at home and making sure you have all of the equipment to still produce a good level of work, that was kind of the most difficult part, because certain things such as mannequins, sewing machines,
Yeah. And space, do you even have the space at home?
Exactly. I was passing cussing on my floor. It was just, yeah, it was crazy. But I guess one good thing was that it kind of showed indindependence. So you just learned how to adjust with things, I guess, independently, and move forward from problems, problem solve, work things out. That was one good thing that did come out of it. I'm really interested in the craft of tailoring still, so I wanted to incorporate elements of corsetry, find ways to add boning, make a corset skirt hybrid, really crop jackets, crop the sleeves, sort of modernize tailoring in a way to make more contemporary forms.
And was majority of that done from home?
Yeah, actually,
wow.
a lot of the making was done from home. My tutors did actually compliment me on how well I adjusted to that, but to be honest, the majority of that was because I was able to buy a mannequin, I bought a sleeve board, I bought a tailor's ham. I was able to purchase all of these things to enable me to create a home studio and adjust to home working. And also with the materials as well, especially with tailoring, there's a lot of extra things like body canvas, chest canvas, demette, collar canvas, all of these extra things that you can't really cut out, because then it doesn't make it bespoke tailoring. So then you haven't fit the project brief, you haven't, you're not going to pass because you haven't done what it said in the brief. But in order to complete that, you have these lists of items that you have to include in your garments.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. You received support from the Student Hardships Fund, and you've kind of spoken a little bit about some of the things that you had to purchase. How much did receiving that funding help you get your project together?
It was I don't think I would have been able to produce my garments to such a high quality if I hadn't been able to do that. And I think it does, at the end of the day, it does affect your grading, because if you don't have high quality fabrics, your garments are not going to look good. Constantly your tutors are giving you feedback, perhaps use this fabric, it would work better, perhaps use these materials, it will sew better, it will look better, it will drape better. But you kind of have to, I guess, have the finances to be able to afford to do all of that. And also with making garments, especially bespoke, especially so fitted, you have to trial things a lot of times. You have to, your first attempt at it won't be your final attempt. You have to remake things, and of course, yeah, all of that adds up. In order to perform well, you have to put in a certain amount of time into your project, into your uni course. I was doing 16-hour days, 14-hour days, back to back, and to be able to do that, you can't necessarily have also a job which takes up perhaps more than maybe 2 days a week. So alongside my studies, I was doing art temps, which is another thing that UAL do, which is temp jobs, and then it's every once in a while. So I could finance myself through that, but I definitely did need the hardship fund as well as extra, so that I could put in that amount of hours into my course, because I think the amount of hours that you put into making really does make such a difference, because you're able to do everything that you want to do, basically, and you can't do that unless you have the time to do it. I guess initially when I applied to this course, I did think that we would have a end of year show, like a physical, like runway show. And I was really hoping for a graduation as well, but that's been also cancelled because of like social. I know, I was so upset. But yeah, so in order to, I guess, make up for the runway show, we have we're filming one garment each, so it's not quite a full graduates collection. Like, I still made 2 outfits, but realistically in a graduates collection you would have 4 outfits, and you would be able to show a whole range of skills and like different like variations in designs, and it would really tie the whole concept together. Whereas now it's being cut down to, they said we had to make a minimum of 1 outfit. 1 outfit doesn't show everything. Like,
Yeah.
no way can you show all of the hard work that went into it through like a 2-second video.